All right, I'd like to welcome everyone inside Sunset Lanes here in Moorhead, Minnesota for the 2017 NDBowling.com Classic. I'm Darren Sini with NDBowling.com, joined once again by Ken Fletcher. Ken, welcome to NDBowlTV.
Thanks for having me yet again, Darren. Good to be my home center, that's for sure.
Yes, and here in the 2017 edition of the Classic, we've got a 2-point, what was it, 9 something?
Yeah, 2.89
to 1 ratio. So the scores today were a little different than yesterday. We're going to start by kind of taking everyone through the scores yesterday, and the cut was 47 over, and that was Travis Herzrud, Ron Morlock, and yours truly. Us three actually tied for the final 2 spots and had to have a roll-off, which was rather exciting. And we'll pause here for 1 second.
Second, Thomas Wolf. Third, Andy Mills. Fourth, David Langer. And fifth, Eric George.
All right, so
Eric George and David Langer.
real quick, we'll give you our top 5 for the show. In 5th is Eric George, and 4th is Dave Langer, so that'll be our first match. In 3rd, Andy Mills. 2nd, Thomas Wolf, and our top qualifier today is Rob Warren. So that is our final 5. Once again, let's head back to our scores on Saturday. We had, 70 bowlers? We had 70 bowlers,
yep.
And the top qualifier was Thomas Wolf with an 1830, so a pretty solid day for him. They took the top 20, and once again, the final 2 spots were determined by a 9th and 10th frame roll-off, and that was won by myself, Darren Sini, and Travis Herzrud, so we advanced. Ron Morlock was then the alternate. So pretty exciting finish, especially when I decided to go strike 3 and then got a 5 count. That was good enough to get through the roll-off, so I'm pretty fortunate for that. Today's scores were, well, a little different.
Just a little bit.
The way this pattern worked, it was pretty flat in the middle, and then it tapered off quite a bit on the outside part of the lane, but there was a lot of oil on the outside part of the lane.
Yep.
So yesterday, with more people bowling, a lot of the righties stayed right early, and it created some sort of a bumper. And that didn't develop today because a lot of the righties started in. And what can I say? I was out there bowling, and it was a lot of over-under reactions, it was tough. And so we're going to have 2 shots on each lane here for our top 5. Eric George against Dave Langer. Our defending champion, Nick Heilman, finished out in 10th today, so we will have a new champion this season.
Yeah, and the likelihood of a new major champion is pretty high as well, with Dave being the only one to have won one.
Andy Mills has.
Oh, how do I forget Andy? How can I forget that? Jeez.
Okay, so they're going to have 2 shots on each lane. Eric George out of Minnesota as well as Dave Langer. And I will say it's good to see an Ebonite guy on our show today.
Yes, absolutely.
Looks like he's throwing a Maverick, and that gives us a good opportunity to remind everyone that Ebonite is the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowlTV. I'd like to remind everyone to stay connected to ndbowling.com on Facebook. You can like our Facebook page, as we will be giving away a bowling ball here in the next couple months. You can follow us on Twitter and subscribe to the YouTube page that you're watching our show on now. Quick reminder, you're watching NDBowlTV, the High Plains Bowling Network. I am Darren Sini with ndbowling.com. Once again, with Ken Fletcher, giving you the action from the 2017 NDBowling.com Classic, our final major of the season. And an exciting one it was, as 70 bowlers showed up, and I'd like to personally thank all of them for showing up and bowling this great event and helping us out. So kudos to them, and Ken Fletcher is actually a sponsor of this event. He decided to, instead of bowling, to put essentially his entry fee and then a little more into the prize fund, so we do appreciate that as well.
You know what, I figured it's one way to get more money back into it, considering I was a little bit not under the weather, but I injured myself Friday night, so rather than trying to hurt it, put some money back into it and see it go to some good people.
All right, now in our first match here, you'll see, and since I was bowling today, I kind of got a first-hand look at what these lanes are doing, and on the right side, you have a couple players were playing out today, and Mike Allen and Rob Warren. Mike Allen made a late charge, but came up short. He was in 6th,
Yep,
and he missed a show by 6 pins.
Yeah, he unfortunate 168 in position round. He had a really good look there. Game 6, 7, 8 somewhere in there.
Yep, he was playing out where only him and Rob Warren were, and Rob actually had enough pins early to really run with it. So,
Rob had games 8 and 9, 250, 260 to actually overtake Thomas, who led for just about the all day, I believe. But yeah, I mean, you can see it in the practice shots. Eric and Dave are both going to be in, but Rob is going to be the one guy that's going to be out. Andy and Thomas will both be in as well, I know.
Yep. So I guess it will depend on how these lanes transition throughout our earlier matches, and once they get to Rob, no one's going to play out where he's playing, so his shot should still be there.
Yeah, and he's just coming off bowling this pair.
But he did shoot a 183 in that match, so I do apologize if we have people running into our makeshift booth, but
yeah, a lot of people going in and out right now, so it's hard to control everything.
All right, so we are underway in our first match here. Eric George against Dave Langer, and Eric will start us off here on lane 11.
And that's kind of been the theme of the day right there. You get it a little right, and you're going to wash out or you're going to 210 most of the day.
Yeah, and then I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the righties didn't start out. That bumper was there all day yesterday, and it kind of opened up for the righties. We did have a lefty make our cut today. Casey Savinger actually finished in 7th, so he came pretty close to making our show today. So
made a good run at it. I don't know what he finished with, but he had 270 going for a while that in position round. Thought maybe he could make a jump, but it's not quite enough in the end.
And I will say, the pattern was pretty playable for everyone, and just today the way everyone started playing the lanes kind of put the right side in a straitjacket. So I felt as if, if Casey could have got something going and got on our show, advantage him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I watched him for quite a bit of the day, and, he had a decent look at times. He had a rough start with, I think, 3 straight 170s. But, I mean, he...
Doing a good pickup
nice
there for
Dave, yeah. But, he just not enough pins early to... give him a chance coming to the position round, but
what's crazy is you look at his scores. He actually tied with a 195 in Game 9.
Oh, and you know what? He had to throw all 3 in the 10th too to do that. I remember seeing that.
So really, if one of those games changes for him, he did even lose with a 221. So that's the joys of match play.
Yep. Yeah, and an early look of how this pattern is played today, right there with those 2 shots from Dave.
Oh yeah. I think it was Game 2 this morning. We had one bowler shoot over 200.
Yep.
In Game 2, it was
204 from Jared Schmidt. It was ugly early on. Nobody could find anything when I was seeing.
Pretty crazy. So if you haven't already, please share our show with everyone you know on social media. That would be appreciated. We'll be here for the duration. This is match 1. The winner will take on Andy Mills in round number 2 in the quarterfinals. And then Thomas Wolf, Rob Warren are waiting in the wings. So if you have any questions, please enter in our chat room. We'll try to answer them the best we can. We're kind of running a quick show here today since I actually made the cut. First time I've done so in a competition that we have a show going on. So
well done by you, that's for sure. Early morning for both of us to get here and set up, but you know what? Bowling's more important in your case, I think.
That is true. So, all right, George here up in the second on the spare. spares are going to be critical in these matches, I think. So,
yeah, we're going to, with how deep they already are, I excuse me, can't imagine what it's going to be like that title match. If Rob gets lined up at all, he could be a handful for whoever makes it.
yeah, like we said, Rob did shoot the 183 on this pair in position round, so
Yep.
you know, anything can happen. People are definitely going to have to work for it. Eric George now up. Looks like he's throwing a gauntlet, potentially the new hammer gauntlet. So
10 pins are fine right now. Take that all day if I could.
yeah, fill frames and continue. So, and it's kind of funny. I still have my bowling shoes on as we do the show. I didn't even know that.
Didn't pay attention, but you know what? When you got this to deal with too.
This is true.
Yep.
So on the spare there for Eric George, and now Langer up looking to get some strikes put together here, kind of get a hold on this match. Shot looks pretty good.
Oh, jeez.
Seen
Then
a
you
few
throw
of
that.
those. Seen
Yeah.
a few of those today.
A lot of 8 pins, a lot of 9 pins, a lot of pocket 710s, and we should say, nice pickup by Mike Larson too today, converting a 710.
And we are actually positioned here in the middle of Sunset Lanes, and there are quite a few open bowlers waiting to bowl, so
Oh my.
rare miss there. So if you do hear a little bit of commotion around us, that is why. We're trying to keep the show put together here with our little cubby hole, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Sunday's usually a busy day around here, so not surprised there's already this many people in the building. Like a move in there from Dave. Went to a little loft trying to create a little area.
And I think if anybody out there watching, you know, you looked at the scores yesterday and you thought, wow, you know, they're pretty decent scores when it takes 47 over for 70 guys to make the cut. And today, just not the same. The lanes broke down different with fewer people and where they started out. So, you know, it just goes to show for all of you heading to the USBC Open here soon how important it is to play the lanes correctly, to break them down in a proper manner. And I'm not saying everyone here played them wrong. It's just everyone looked for friction early, and the friction was in the middle part of the lane. So,
I mean, it's a common theme on day two, it seems. People want to start day two where they finish. And, you know, then things like this happen where the lanes just, they don't open up like you would want it or expect them to. And then you're winning with 180s and 190s.
hey, and I got my prize check. Bonus.
Nice to get extra money while you're doing this.
Yeah, I did not expect to make the cut. I can assure you of that. I did not expect it.
Especially after your 10th frame last night.
Yes. I actually was up in the 9th frame of the final game. I was 4 pins behind the cut entering the last game, and I 210'd in the 9th frame and got 0, and then it allowed me to max at 208, and I went spare strike, and that ended up allowing me to tie the other guys to get into the roll-off, so it was pretty exciting last night.
I wonder if that was a tester right there for Eric.
I don't know if that's the right ball right now.
Dave asking if he can take the 180 dummy score right now.
Yeah, the blind.
I think he might do pretty well with that.
I would have taken a lot of those today, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I think Eric's going to move right. I think that spare shot was a little tester, which I don't think is a bad idea. Nope, staying in.
But he did
But
switch
that
to the
was-
Maverick. He got away from the Gauntlet, so that's a little. It's a smoother reaction, but it starts up a little sooner for him. So that the Gauntlet is a kind of a dull finish on that ball, and I just don't think that's the proper piece right now on this pattern. So I think that was a pretty good change for him.
Let's see what can happen if he can get anything going.
Well, if it's not the 8, it's not the 10, it's the 9. So
And what else can you do if you're Dave Langer after those 3 shots?
I think there was a sequence this morning. I was down on 1 and 2, and I threw a shot, struck the first frame, and then I went swisher 7. I went through the nose 9 pin, flat 10, moved 9 pin, moved 8 pin. It was brutal. So if you can get strikes on this today, props to you.
Well, good spare to keep him right in there, right in the match. I mean, 170 is going to win this match the way it's going. But we saw enough of that today.
And again, anyone out there watching at home, please hit the thumbs up button on your YouTube player. Please share the live stream with everyone you know on social media. That would be greatly appreciated. This is our final show of the season. Tune in now. We've got Runaway Brooklyn there for Dave.
Take it.
We've got a few more tournaments coming up, but as far as NDBowlTV goes, we will be off until August, where we will head to Alexandria for the Midwest Youth Championships again at the Garden Center, where we will feature special guest Walter Ray Williams Jr. So please mark it down on your calendars. August, I believe it is the 13th. And we will be live from the Garden Center at the Midwest Youth Championships with Walter Ray Williams Jr. So tune in for that. Looks like that right lane is giving Eric George fits right now.
Yeah, just a little bit wide every shot, and you've got no recovery right now. But yeah, going back to the Midwest Championships, I know when that was announced, both of us were rather excited for that. That's, I mean, does it get any better than Walter Ray? That'll be one heck of an experience for all of us and all the youth bowlers just to have him around. 30 plus years of experience in the PBA.
Well, one of the best all time. So tune in. You'll probably hear a lot of good stories and some great knowledge from one of the best in the world. All right, so Eric George, he's got that left lane down. If he can find something on 12 that reads the lane a little sooner, it just seems like 12 is hanging a little bit, and if you don't have the right rotation and speed, there's really no chance. So,
well, I mean, lucky for him, unless Dave throws a couple strikes on the board here, he's still well in the match.
yeah, once again, he's having the same problem on that lane.
A little hang, but lucky, 2-pin all day on that shot.
Luckily in this match, it's filling frames is a bonus. So and he tried hooking at the 8-pin and missed it. Well, he threw that a little slower, yeah.
Made sure he got enough of that one that it would get back at it.
I'd like to welcome Matt Smallin into the chat room. Thanks for joining us there, buddy. And yes, there is open play on both sides of us today. We are in the middle of the bowling center, folks. So you'll hear some kids cheering. There's a lot of open bowlers, that's for sure. Which is good for Sunset Lanes, good business, and good for the game of bowling. So,
yeah, like I said, Sunday's one of our big, busy days. Oh, wow.
good carry there for
Dave. Bucket trip out right there. Gotta love that.
Well, this is a critical point in the match here for Eric George. He's got to finish on that right lane, and he's got a double here to get himself back in the match and to give himself a chance. He's got that left lane down, so this is a big shot for him. hook. And it did,
Yeah.
but looks like he made a little move to get it to roll sooner, but it rolled up flat, so maybe that'll give him enough information heading into the 10th frame, but we'll see.
And make some minor adjustment, maybe put a couple together in the 10th if he's got the chance.
Business first, got to pick up the spare.
Yep.
And we will say one thing about Eric. He just overcame a finger injury on his bowling hand, so this is one of the first tournaments he's come out and bowled this year, so a good showing for him. And wish him the best in his injury going forward. Hopefully he can get back to 100%. And it is good to see an Ebonite guy throwing on our show.
Seems like we've had a lot of Brunswick lately.
Brunswick and Storm, yeah. Looks like we're going to see, we got Rob Warren throwing some Brunswick stuff, Andy Mills throwing Brunswick, and then Thomas Wolf throwing a little bit of Motive. So we got a wide variety today on our show.
Yeah,
That's
a little
pretty good.
Don't often see 4 different ball companies anymore on one show.
And I will say I did pick Thomas Wolf to make our show today, so I got one of our picks right. And
Hey.
it was a pretty big shot in the dark when I wrote that article because I didn't know the pattern yet. But
You know what? I think it's a rather safe bet on just about anything if you pick Thomas. Ooh, good spare for Eric. You know, I'm about as consistent as it comes when you go these big tournaments.
well, here's the situation. Dave Langer can put this one away with a strike here, and I'm going to move on. So
See if he can get one on the right lane. Yep,
Good shot
that was a
there.
Good shot.
So it's going to be interesting to see now that, it looks like Dave's going to move on in this match. Is he going to, well, I guess, the incoming player has the option to choose, but are these people watching to understand that right lane is hanging a little more? That'll be interesting to see who has to finish on that lane. So,
Well, I mean, Andy's been hanging around back here. You wonder if he's been watching that, if he's seen what we're seeing. I mean, but, match isn't quite over yet.
almost a runaway Brooklyn for the win.
Probably lucky it hooked that much, or, oof, that was big 4 in the face.
Yeah, and Eric George can only max out at, 166? Yep. So that about does it.
Well, yeah, and that's it. So, maybe Dave after the spare here, try something, different ball, maybe move right, who knows. It looks like he's going to the bag.
Well, a good time to test out a ball here before you move on to your next match. And a reminder, we will move on to our quarterfinal match featuring Andy Mills and David Langer. So stay tuned. Please share the live stream with everyone you know on social media. It is our final show of the season. And a quick reminder that in August, we'll be joined by Walter A. Williams Jr. on Sunday, August 13th, live from the Midwest Youth Championships in Alexandria. If you're a junior, I do highly recommend bowling that event because they give away a lot of money. So if you're a junior out there looking to bowl an event, please book that one up. Again, you can find us on social media, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page. And again, a big thanks to Ebonite for sponsoring the High Plains Bowling Network once again, the second straight year of doing so. We do appreciate everything you guys do for us. And we're going to move on here. Looks like Dave Langer and Andy Mills in our second match. So a good showing there for Eric George. He will take home 5th place money, which I believe is around $600.
Yep, I believe it's $600 for 5th. So, for a first tournament back, I'd be pretty happy with that.
And yes, Dave Langer almost got the blind dummy score. So just go through the motions, Dave. We'll see what happens. All right, just shortly here, I believe Andy will get 2 on each lane, and then we'll be underway in our quarterfinal match here at the 2017 NDBowling.com Classic, this season's final major. I'd like to welcome Marshall Howard into the all the guys back home in Minot, I do thank you guys for tuning in. And if Andy Mills were to run up the ladder here and win, he will win his 3rd separate major and will become only the 2nd person to win 3 separate majors. So that is what it's at stake here for Andy Mills. And then we have 2 guys, Thomas Wolf, Rob Warren at the top. Neither have won a major, so a compelling show here. Dave Langer once again had won the CMA Memorial Shootout a few years ago, so he is a major winner. Could win his 2nd different major.
You wonder, I mean, this is obviously the match to watch right now, but I mean, Thomas has been on TV, but you wonder if, you know, the experience is going to win out in this matter. I mean, both Andy and Dave haven't been there how many times. But at the same time, you know, it's all about the pattern, I think, right now, and it's obviously not very bowler friendly at the moment. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because, like we said at the start of the show, Rob Warren's the only guy playing out, and he did shoot a 183 on this pair in position round. So it's not like he's got the world out there, but it seemed like until the later stages of match play, he had a very good look from out. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays in to our final match. So
yeah, well, 183 would have won the last game, so
that is true. I think you should take a quick break and get our trophy out to our pedestal here while we wait for this match to start.
Fair enough.
Got to get our Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy out to our booth. Weighing in at over 14 pounds, so all right, and Andy is the higher seed in this match, so he will get lane choice. And it looks like Andy will start it off. So Andy Mills versus David Langer in our quarterfinal match here at the NDBowling.com Classic. Winner will take home $1,500 in the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy. So tune in. We will get a word with our winner following the completion of the title match. Again, the winner of this match will take on Thomas Wolf in our semifinal. Andy Mills appears to be throwing a true Nirvana. Same ball that Nick Heilman threw in our show up at Minot at the CMA Memorial Shootout. So all right, on the spare. Now, interesting enough, Andy chose to start first, so he will finish on that right lane. So maybe he felt that was a better lane for him.
Well, the one thing for Andy more than the other two, I think, is the ball speed. You know, I mean, if he does get it right, this little bit slower ball speed, he can get away with it.
Yeah, this is very speed sensitive at this point. The way the pattern is breaking down, when the ball's ready to read, it's going to read. Depending on if it's at, 50 feet, 45 feet, it's going to go. So it's very speed sensitive, and you got to get it to the point. And if you throw it through the house, you're going to wash out. If you don't get it there, essentially what Dave just did, and he was lucky enough to have a makeable spare. So I will say the one good thing about having open bowlers around is we don't necessarily have to be quiet, since we are literally 10 feet from the bowlers, and there's a little bit of background noise going on with all the open bowlers, so we don't necessarily have to be quiet. And
no, that's nice, not having to worry too much about how loud your voice is at the moment. But I mean, as a bowler, I kind of like a little bit of background noise,
yeah,
because then you don't have to worry about every little nicking thing bugging you when you throw.
The ball change there for Langer, trying to find a reaction that he likes.
That was close. It's what he ended up switching to in the 10th frame last game, and it looked okay, so, you know.
I just realized that I got some of my equipment down on 7 and 8 where I started today. I decided to bowl the position around and come over to the show, and I still have my bowling shoes on and everything. A pretty wild day here for NDBowling.com as we had a first. I actually qualified for the day 2. So we had to get here bright and early this morning, about an hour and a half before everyone else walked through the door, and we set up the set and had it ready to go so that when position round was over we could bring you guys live coverage. So here we are. I'm tired. And we got 2 matches to go before we decide a winner.
Yeah,
Andy
well,
Mills.
it was bound to happen that you made a cut.
Yeah, he must really like that right lane. That's a good roll for him.
That was nice.
Again, the winner here will take on Thomas Wolf in our semifinal match. He's making his first show appearance of the season. Rob Warren, our top seed. He shot a 23.64 to take home the top seed. And before bonus pins, he had a 21.24, so 124 over scratch before bonus. And he lost 2 matches, so a pretty good day for him.
Oh, that didn't look that bad.
I just don't think he was able to feed that one right as much as he wanted to.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the price you're paying today.
And as I learned yesterday, make sure you get count. For those of you just joining us, I was part of a 3-way tie for the final 2 spots yesterday between Travis Herzrud, myself, and Ron Morlock, and we had to bowl a 9th and 10th frame roll-off late yesterday. It was about 8 o'clock. 9th and 10th frame roll-off to decide the final 2 bowlers, and unfortunately Ron missed a single pin in the 9th frame to kind of give us the advantage, but pretty exciting stuff. And the last game I left a 210 and decided not to get count. I went for it because I felt I needed to go for it, and I missed the 2-pin left, so I didn't get count, and that is what made me get into the roll-off, I guess. So always get count on your splits there, folks. Always get count.
Yeah, there are times to go for it. I mean, I wouldn't argue that was probably the right call for you to make at that point, because I don't think any of us thought you would be in.
No, going into the last game, the cut was 53 over, and I was at 49. And after I opened that frame, I could only max out at 208. And, you know, traditionally, everyone knows that the last game, the cut's likely to go up, and it actually dropped 6 pins the last game, which I never thought would happen. So
no, that was really surprising, especially the way that pattern played late.
And we were thinking at best us 3 would be tied for 1 spot, and
end up being 2 spots.
which ended up being a good benefit for me. So
yeah, well, benefit for everybody. I mean, everyone got paid out of that too. So
that is true. Yes, Ron did take home alternate money, which was no more than I took home now for finishing, I think, 17th. You know, he got his money back. I took home 200. So horse apiece, I guess.
Yep.
And now here is Andy Mills, now up in the 4th frame on his good lane, looking to take advantage of that open for Dave. Again, this is a very speed-sensitive pattern, the way it broke down today. A little tighter than it was yesterday, and the way everyone played the lanes.
Oh,
Looked like that one, you know, you got it to the spot, just hook late.
Yeah, just push that, that extra foot, and it makes all the difference in those darn ringing 10 pins.
And talking about split conversions there in our chat room, I think Mike Larson picked up a 710 today. This is a house where pins do bounce around, so if you do leave splits here, you know, throw it hard and hope for the best. There's a good chance you're going to get it.
Yeah, and 11 and 12 is a notorious pair for it. 3 and 4 is probably the best one for it that I've. I mean,
I will say I picked up a 7-10 on 11 and 12 as a junior in Junior City Tournament back in '06 or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
The only time I've ever picked up a 7-10, and I did it here. So
That's
I remember throwing a shot with an Ebonite, the 1.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I threw a shot. The ball got stuck in the back. It came back with a big gouge around the whole thing.
Nice
and
shot by Andy there.
They took my ball into the pro shop, but advised me not to quit bowling to keep pace going, and I literally was not very happy. And I took out a ball I knew I shouldn't have thrown. I threw it and left a 7-10. So I was rather angry and threw it as hard as I could, and there you go.
Things
The
happen.
rest is history. Langer now up in the 5th. That's a good shot.
Yep, that's nice. It's starting to get the right lane dialed in now.
You know, and a key on this pattern was, too, is hand position. You know, a lot of these guys are chasing it left to get enough head oil to get the ball to feed down lane before it reads. And if you change your hand position a little bit, you know, the ball ain't going to hook. It's just going to go right through the break point, or else it's going to read at 30 feet.
Yep.
And it's really tough to get the ball projected down to the point but have enough side turn and energy left in the bowling ball to get the corners out. So,
and Dave, another ball switch, and that
Exhibit
was
1A, he just did not get around the ball. He projected it, but he didn't get around it. And very, very tough conditions out there right now. So now what was the good lane, the left
now-
lane has turned into the,
now the bad lane.
So I guess good decision there for Andy. And
Oh, just overhooked.
I do believe that's Dave's 3rd different ball in this game. So
Yep.
he is searching for something here.
Yep, snap block, I believe, for a couple frames in that left lane, and didn't like that, and
That's a rocket, I believe.
looks like it might be. I think it's a phase 2 that he's been throwing on the right lane.
Yep. A ball that Matt Smallin in our chat room has enjoyed great success with. That's a
And
pull and a break.
Pull on the trip 6, and I believe our first double of the step ladder finals.
I had my fair share of Brooklyns today.
I saw more than a couple. Just wandering out and about. Probably about 1 a game from everybody, it seemed like.
Well, now the key is to, you know, let it go and take advantage of it. Moving on to what has been the tougher of the 2 lanes. So, as Patrick Allen would say, cash it in, Hoss. Take it to the bank, baby.
It's close, and it just comes up again.
Brutal conditions out here, folks. I mean, the pattern looked easy yesterday, and I can tell you if I made the cut yesterday, they were generally easy. And pretty crazy how the difference in the way they are played on the fresh creates this sort of, you know, reverse block going on. And
Yeah, it gets rough. I mean, you look at the scratch averages today. Andy actually led everybody, and that was with a 215.
wow.
You know, you don't normally see a 215 leading averages on day 2. It's more like 220, 225, but
Yeah, and in this tournament, they do award 30 for a win. So good shot there for Dave. They award 30 for a win. So winning matches is pretty important. And, you know, one of them that comes to mind, it was Game 9. Mike Allen played Rob Warren and lost, shooting 249.
Yep.
And he ended up missing our show by 6. So that just goes to show, you know, Mike Allen had the 2nd highest game out of everyone in that game and lost, and that costed him a spot in our show. So catching people at the right time is what it's all about, and he had a pretty bad break there.
yeah, don't think Dave liked that one either. Just
Searching for the right ball in the left lane, and really, if you can fill frames, leave yourself with something makeable, the advantage is to you. So
yeah, I mean, Andy, even with that double, you know, he's going to be, 7-pin lead right here if Dave makes a spare. So
a very timely Brooklyn, I should say. All right, cover the spare.
Ooh,
Thought
that
he
was
chopped
close.
it.
That was close.
Let's move our trophy up here. It's a heavy trophy.
Yeah, I've gotten the chance to lift that once or twice, and that's quite a load.
And again, following our championship match, we will award the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy and speak with our winner. Is that going to get there?
Nope. Oh,
Did see a lot of that today.
so many 9-pins today.
And it seemed like yesterday when a lot of the righties played right, a lot of them would leave, because there's a lot of oil outside of 10, but the problem is that it's not a consistent reaction. If you missed right, you would wash out. You miss in, it would hook through the face.
Yep.
And a lot of people stayed generally outside of 15 to start yesterday, and it created the bumper, but what it also did is a lot of people had flat ball reactions. They weren't finding the friction, so it left a lot of 10 pins. So you had a lot of people throwing at corners, which developed the hold room as well.
Yep.
So yesterday the lanes broke down perfect, and today it just seemed like a lot of people started in on the friction. They had a decent ball reaction early. I mean, I shot 214, 213 the first game. A lot of people had something good, but once you moved to someone else's start, that was game 2 where the high game was 204 in the house.
Yep, see, and then just that one a little bit wide.
And we have a 7-pin match, so on the spare here, Dave can go up, and I know that's a pretty tall order to throw a 3-bagger here to win, but
yeah, 3 in a row from Dave, and he shuts Andy out. And who would ever think that 180, 190 is going to win with the guys that we've got on our show?
right, especially when the scores yesterday, top qualifier was 1830 and then 1823, so some pretty good scores yesterday. It's just the way it broke down. You had fewer bowlers today. The shot played tighter, as it always does on day 2. You had a good mix of players, though. That's one thing I do like about our field today is you had errant shot there. That was his good lane, too. So the one thing I did like about the field today, you had straight players. You had people that hooked the ball a lot. You had a lefty. You had a little bit of everything, so I think it was a pretty fair pattern to score on, and to, multiple angles could get there. And
yeah, I mean, any and everybody could do it. There was enough friction out there for the straight guys. Oh, wow, 1 on the spare there.
5-1 in the 9th frame, and this is where Dave would say, give me the dummy blind score of 180, because neither of our bowlers can get there. Well, Andy can still get there. He can get maxed out at 189, so.
Yeah, that hurts count, hurts everything. I mean, and look at Dave right there, move right. And
and that's just a little preview of where Rob Warren's been playing. And what game was it? In game number, game 5.
Yep.
Before we had to switch ends of the house, I decided to move 20 to the right and shot 224 and 1, and I thought it was a good time for me to turn the game around, and then we switched with the other group, and I went down to the high end of the house, and that wasn't there. So
yeah,
that's a pretty good reaction from there.
He's kicking himself right now for not doing that earlier. But, anything can still happen.
Nothing's a guarantee with that right lane right now.
Dave throw one more here, and Greek Church is potentially a loss then.
He kind of fell out of that one, but that'll be we got 162 on the board for Dave Langer, and he's not happy because he knew that was the right move to make, and he waited until
it was too late.
And again, he was throwing the phase 2 on those last few shots on the left, so Thomas Wolf over here immediately to our left, kind of looking at the pattern.
Well, 7's enough. 7
that's
is
enough,
but
it gets him
barely.
163 if he misses them all here, so that is a winner for Andy Mills. He will advance. That just, imagine if Dave struck that last ball now.
I mean, you would need 2, but
He's still needing 2. But
I mean, another board wider, and that's a 5. And then he's got to almost pick it up.
Well, there it is. So Andy Mills will advance with
165.
165. He will advance to our semifinal against Thomas Wolf. And all I know is after watching Dave Langer throw that shot out, I got to give the advantage to Rob Warren right now.
Well, you know what? I'm curious to see what Thomas does. I know he played in pretty much all day, but
he was sitting over here watching for quite a while.
After watching those 2 shots from Dave, I wonder if he does try it.
And while we have a quick minute, we would like to remind everyone that you're watching NDBowlTV, the High Plains Bowling Network. We'd like to thank the folks at Ebonite for the 2nd year in a row of being the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowlTV. We do have possibly another Game Breaker 2 Phenom giveaway coming up here in March and April, so if you haven't already, like us on Facebook, as that's where the contest will be. Follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube page. Subscribe. And this is our final show in 2016-2017 season. We'll be back in August, on August 13th at Alexandria's Garden Center for the Midwest Youth Championship, featuring special guest Walter Ray Williams Jr. So you will want to tune in for that one, as we will get to visit with a living legend. One I know I'm pretty excited to visit with him. Again, our semifinal match will feature Andy Mills and Thomas Wolf. Andy Mills looking for his 3rd major, his 3rd separate major. Thomas Wolf looking for his 1st, which I think you and I could both agree is well overdue. This guy should have one by now. He's made a few shows up in the KFYR. He's made this show, I know, a couple times already.
2nd or 3rd time at least.
Looks like he's trying that shot from right. I like that. I like that.
And, I mean, Thomas has enough speed and enough on it to get it to recover a little bit, so you think you would favor him in this match, but it's, how much room is he going to have? We'll have to see.
Well, let's see what we can do about our titles here today. And we'll see what Thomas has the higher seed, so we'll see what he will choose. All right, looks like Thomas will start on 11, meaning he'll finish on that right lane where he was playing down and in with what looks like a tag.
Yep.
A motive tag. So we'll see what he decides to do here. But I did like that he was sliding about 20, 25, somewhere in there, and just a little belly out to 10 with some pretty high speed. So
yeah, not as far right as Rob will be for sure. I think for sure, but
I like the move though. I really do.
It's probably the best play from the looks of it.
Yep. And you got to be happy being in the pocket right now. And if you're Thomas Wolf, that 10 pin is fine.
Yep, I would take. As frustrating as it might be, I would take 10 pins right now.
Oh yeah.
And run.
I would be safe to assume that a clean game here would win.
Oh, without a doubt. I think the way they've broken down and they're playing right now.
Gotta pick your
Oh,
spares.
and out of the gates.
Well, and you gotta, that's one thing too. You gotta understand that an open frame early, the way the lanes are playing, I mean, 160 just won the last match. You can't let it get to your head. He threw a good first ball. You know, you just gotta let it go and move on. So we'll see what happens here. Andy Mills still throwing the true Nirvana.
Still looks good on the right lane if he keeps the speed down enough. But
Yeah, it's so easy to, when you're playing that far in, to just kind of shove the ball down the lane. And when you do that and you don't get proper rotation on it, it's a washout, it's an open. And then you want to overcorrect on the next one.
Yep.
And just give it a little more at the bottom, but you get slow and it goes nose. So pretty tight conditions out here today. So
a little room on that one. And
he liked that one. Early double. That's a big double.
yeah.
We haven't seen many of those on our show. So now can Thomas regroup here? You know, it's easy to let the flag 10 get in your head, but you got to understand 160 won the last match.
I mean, I think we both know Thomas to be a little fiery, I guess is one way to put it. So, you know, you hope that he puts that into some motivation for this match.
Well,
Good break, trip out the 10.
Yeah, and he was the top qualifier yesterday in the house with an 1830, so, you know, 230 over. Andy Mills started out a little rough. I think he was minus after 2 games and then went 170 over or so through the rest of the way, so he finished at 172 over. So good spare there for Thomas.
Yep. Taking it and run, it looks like.
Rob Warren yesterday, he qualified 12th with 1,700, so he was 100 over.
Yeah, just a nice, you know, Rob's game is so simple.
It is very, very low backswing, and a lot of his equipment is rolly. He projects it to a spot, it rolls, and kind of takes the deficiencies of the pattern out of play,
Yep.
especially where he's playing, and that's why I think he had so much success today.
Be nice to make it look that easy. I think we could both attest to it being difficult for us at times, but you know, Rob's got such a simple style that you know, you'd never see him too far down or anything.
Ball change for Thomas Wolf, which is interesting after, you know, he wrapped 10 on that lane. Looked like he ball changed and moved his feet a little bit left, and then it never made the corner. So again, I think the play is to the right. I really do. It's so touch and go unless you're deadly accurate with your speed and side turn. It's tough sledding inside.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as far in as Andy, but even right there, it's the same kind of, you know, the same kind of reaction, just given the ball speed that he can put on it, and is.
And at least he's been able to fill frames, aside from the first frame. You know, filling frames right now is okay. Advantage Mills here if he can find a way to throw a good shot on 12. Again, spares are good. Shot looks okay.
Yep, that was nice. This kind of brings to mind, what was it, 2 years ago when he won the CMA, that title match, how, you know, everything was tight. Nobody was shooting anything, and he came out and just split boards and shot, I forget, what, 230 in the finals?
Yeah.
And just made it look easy.
Yeah, and that was the year Justin Schiffler kind of ran away with the top seed and then couldn't quite find the reaction. And okay, Mills now up in the 4th. He likes it.
Ooh,
Stubborn
well,
7-pin. It's kind of like Winnipeg. That stubborn 7-pin at Sunset Lanes is a lot like the stubborn 7-pin in Winnipeg, and I know the folks in our chat room, especially Matt Smalling, can attest to that. Again, if you haven't already, please share our show on social media. Please hit that thumbs up button on your YouTube player. Good spare there. And I think it's really important here that Thomas doesn't start to press and try to make too drastic of a move too early, you know.
No, it looks like he's staying with what he just switched to, I believe. And, you know, throw a couple good shots here and you're still in the match.
Yeah, still throwing paranoia. Yeah, that one just didn't quite roll up.
Same kind of reaction on the right lane.
Paranoia was the same ball Mike Green was throwing on the show at the KFYR.
Oh,
just about 4 weeks ago when he ran through a little bit of the ladder with clutch 10th frame performance. He was throwing the Paranoia on TV, so seems to be a very popular ball out of the Motive line. On the spare.
Right.
You know, good count and spare is okay right now.
Yeah, it's okay, but, you know, he's got to be looking up at that turkey to start from Andy. And,
Yep.
you know, Thomas being Thomas, probably pushing it a little bit.
I think that last shot on 12, he threw it where he wanted to, and I think he expected it to hook. I thought he kind of got a little spinny at the bottom on it. And I know Thomas naturally spins the ball a hair, but I think that one he didn't quite catch like he wanted to. So we'll see if. See, that one he hooked, but he missed right, and so ended with the same result. He missed a little to the right. He got around it a little more. So.
Probably fortunate to just leave the 2-4 there.
Yeah, and that's where this pattern and the way it's broken down tricks you. Because on the right lane, he thought he threw it good, and it just didn't quite read and roll, and he left the 2. He moves left on 11, gives a little more at the bottom, but misses right. And so if you're not well in tune to your game, it's going to kind of trick your mind a little bit as to what the proper move is to get in the pocket here.
Well, it all comes down to you just got to make the best shot you can, and just got to be able to read what the ball's doing and hopefully make the right adjustment.
So now Andy Mills here up in the 5th, looking to extend his lead. And again, if Mills were to win today, he will win his 3rd separate NDBowling.com major. Only the 2nd person to do so, joining Eric Barbie.
Oh, that was right all the way.
The Booth jinx is alive and well, folks. We started talking about winning majors, and you get 7. So I do apologize if any of you end up on our show and you get the Booth jinx. If you throw one through the window, don't turn around and look at me like it was my fault. But Andy's been pretty solid at the washout conversions this weekend, so he's got to hook a little.
Lucky for that one, though.
Well, like we did mention earlier, there's been a lot of bouncing pins around here, so you got to keep watching every shot you throw.
Well, that makes it that much more of an interesting match now.
And again, if you're just joining us, our cut yesterday was plus 47. There were 70 entries. Top 20 advanced to today's match play portion. And we are in our semifinal match. The winner will take on Rob Warren for the title and the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy. So
looks like that might have been a move in from Andy on the left lane, and that looked good.
All right, another ball switch here for Thomas Wolf. We'll see what he does. That open is kind of his chance to gain a few pins here. Put up a double, make Mills think about it a little bit.
Yep.
I tell you what, man, my legs hurt. It's been a long day of bowling. Is he gonna hook?
Yep.
Same result. He just cannot get a ball to react, and you know, the natural move any bowler would say is to move right. And I know the second you move right and you lay one down around 10, 12, it's either going to hook through the face or, again, it's just going to sail out into the soup.
Yep. Yeah, you'd think, okay, let's just move aboard and, keep that break point, and then it, gets in on the burn spot a little early and checks nose.
It's easy if you're watching at home to watch the last 3 shots that Thomas has thrown. My question is, his first shot, wrap 10. Why go away from that when it would be a slight move? But, maybe he saw something we didn't. There's a reason he's bowling and I'm not.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. He's been doing this longer than I think we have. That one looks pretty good and just...
And he probably saw that, and I would make a move off of that, whether it's a ball or something, because that one just kind of rolled out flat 10 the whole way. So,
yeah, you maybe if you're Thomas, you stay there, pick up the speed a little bit. But who knows at this point what he's thinking, what he wants to do.
And on the spare, barely. Bonus points for effort. Get your skinny jeans on, Thomas Wolf. Well, if you're Andy Mills right now, you're just looking at filling frames. When your opponent has yet to strike, fill frames and force your opponent to double to catch you.
Yep. You think about it, too. You throw 2 right here, and it's going to be about it.
That looks pretty good.
Yep, that was nice.
Pretty good shot. Again, Rob Warren is waiting. Is our top seed. He went 255, 261, games 8 and 9 to overtake the lead from Thomas Wolf, and then had a 183 in the position round, but did have a big enough lead to go. He is looking for his first major. And I believe he is along the lines of the Nick Heilman, Andy Mills crew that came up from Wisconsin. Oof. So there's a good chance the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy will be going back to Wisconsin, but we'll see. There's still
a couple of frames left.
A lot of game left.
Fortunate 2-pin there too, so just that little miss right, and Andy's paying full price almost.
Again, fill frames. That is the important thing today.
Yep.
Again, if you're just joining us, I'm Darren Skinny with NDBowling.com alongside Ken Fletcher, bringing you the action from the 2017 NDBowling.com Classic, the season's final major. Thomas Wolf now up in the 8th, moves in,
and naturally.
Now it looks easy. And just, the last match, Dave Langer moves out, it looks good. Thomas starts there, it doesn't look good. He moves in, it looks good. I don't know.
You know what, though? Thomas also did it 2 frames earlier, so let's see if it makes a difference or not.
Yep. All you can do right here is make a good shot, put up a double, and wait. And hopefully you get a chance.
Looks pretty close.
Yeah, and that 9-pin moved. That 9-pin moved left about 2-3 inches. Yep. So he hit it. Up pin hit it.
Just brutal.
Well, for Thomas, a pretty good showing, but I'm going to guess a little disappointing result for him. The way he bowled yesterday and the way he was bowling for most of today, I think the tournament was his to lose, but the way the lanes broke down kind of...
Yeah, just that it wasn't in his favor.
Well, he can max out at 180, and, Andy Mills just needs count, and he's already there, so... Andy Mills looks like he will advance to our championship match against Rob Warren. If Andy wins, again, he will win his 3rd separate major, joining Eric Parvey as the only other bowler to do so. And they will both need only the KFYR TV Bowling Classic, which Andy Mills has never bowled. So,
and you wonder if he starts trying to get into that.
It'll make you wonder if they will attempt to get in there to try to complete the Grand Slam. So, something to think about.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't be surprised to see his name on that list very early next year.
because it was interesting how once Mike Schmidt won all the Manitoba Opens and then came down here and won the Classic, he
Yep.
started bowling the KFYR.
Yes, he
So,
did.
a little interesting how a lot more people get interested in that Mandan tournament after they win a few majors and the career Grand Slam is on the line. So our final will be Andy Mills versus Rob Warren. I'd like to take a brief minute to remind everyone you are watching NDBowlTV, the High Plains Bowling Network. Again, a special thanks to our sponsor, Ebonite, the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowlTV. If you could all please like our page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Hit that thumbs up button on your YouTube player. That would be great as well. Again, our next action will be August 13th, Sunday, from the Midwest Youth Championships in Alexandria at the Garden Center. We'll be joined by PBA legend Walter A. Williams Jr., so mark that one on your calendar. I am looking forward to visiting with the legend alongside Ken Fletcher here. I believe he's going to be joining us.
Oh, I wouldn't miss that one.
And again, you're watching the 2017 NDBowling.com Classic, and there you go. Thomas Wolf will finish it off with a 7-10.
And you know what? A little action here.
Hey, Thomas, pick it up for us. Why not?
Thomas, if anyone can get it down the lane quicker, I'd like to see it.
Hey, we just talked about it. This is a lane where it could happen. I picked it up on this lane, so could we see our first 7-10 conversion on NDBowlTV? That'd be kind of cool. Fireworks from Thomas Wolf, even when he's out of the match.
And I think he's really trying for it, too, considering how much time he took.
Jump. Oh, ooh, that was close.
A little bit of a wry smile from him.
All right, that'll do it. Andy Mills, 199. Thomas Wolf, 169. Andy will advance to face Rob Warren for a $1,500 top prize and the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy. So stay tuned. It is our championship match. It's kind of funny how last year's champion Nick Heilman traveled with Andy Mills and Rob Warren. Nick Heilman won our title last year in the finals now. Andy Mills and Rob Warren. So, again, the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy will be going back to Wisconsin. So, you know, a good group of guys. I do appreciate them making the drive up to the lovely Fargo-Moorhead area.
It's about as long a drive as it is for you.
Yeah, I got 4 hours ahead of me here, and a tear down of the set and everything else. So,
you know, my curiosity for this match is, does the winner get the back seat and be able to sleep?
well, I heard last year that after Nick Heilman won the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy, he had to drive home, but the trophy was in the passenger seat, and the other guy was in the back.
I think that was the joke going around when.
So yes, the trophy does get precedent, and we'll see who's going to go home with it. And as you can see, a pretty simple game for Rob. He just projects the ball down to that range finder, the far right one, and then the ball rolls up, and he's got a pretty good angle on the pins to get the corners out. So Andy looks pretty comfortable where he's at. Proven the last match that in was a decent play.
In was good enough, but those first couple shots from Rob, they look pretty good.
Yeah, again, just projection, rolls up, has enough angle on it to get the corner out because the ball is not feeding to the right. You know, it's saving all its energy to roll. So here we go. Our championship match is underway. Let's see if we can get someone to reset our scores and we've been doing this all day, so I think we'll be able to. Again, we are in the championship match. Andy Mills versus Rob Warren. A win for Mills will be 3 different majors. A win for Rob will be his first major here at the NDBowling.com Classic. So a lot on the line, along with a $1,500 check, which I think in that card doesn't matter about money right now. So
no, this one's this one's all about pride and the trophy.
yeah, that's a big trophy, weighing in at a little over 14 pounds and stands about 2 feet high. It's no small trophy, folks. The winner will take that home, and we will get a word with our winner following the conclusion of this match. So we are underway. Mills versus Warren, first shot.
Good opening shot for Andy.
And I repeat, I still have my bowling shoes on, so if any of them need a sub, I will go in and bowl. Yep, I had to bowl today. A little bit different show than we are normally used to having. Once we complete the position round, I raced over to get the show started. I still have my bowling shoes on. My equipment is scattered throughout the bowling center right now. Good shot there for Rob. Again, 2 differentiating styles. We have one guy playing pretty much up 5, the other guy laying down on about 38. So,
and my dad right behind him, Nick talking to both of them.
their biggest cheerleader, I'm sure. That one looks in.
The left, and yeah.
And that's a really tough spare on this. That is a very tough spare.
And you would think, especially for a guy like Rob, who doesn't exactly put a lot on it.
But the way his stuff is drilled, it's very rolly. So I think if he gets it to the right spot and it rolls, I think he'll be able to get that back pin. But again, projection is pretty key here. And there's the roll, and
yeah,
just too much. Had the right idea, though.
Yeah, just a little bit left off of where you've been playing, and too bad. But you know, open early is not something you can't overcome.
This is a good redemption for Andy Mills. Last year he did not fare so well in this building, and he didn't even make the cut. So to come back this year and get to the championship match is a pretty good accomplishment.
Yeah, last year was really tough. You know, both him and Mike Schmidt, 2 guys you would not even think would even flirt with missing the cut, weren't, I believe, even that close.
Mike Schmidt was, I believe he was like 4 or 5 positions off the cut, but I think the pins were about 40 pins or so. But yeah, you don't expect those guys to bowl the way they did and miss cuts like that. But you know, it happens to everyone. You know, no cut is guaranteed. If the lanes break down for you the right way, then sometimes people like me get lucky and get into day 2. So Mills now up in the 3rd. Still throwing the true Nirvana, and he got a little firm with that one.
Yeah, just a tad bit, and
Okay, so we just asked Nick Heilman over here what Rob Warren is throwing, and he said it's either a cell pearl or a mutant cell pearl or something like that. So interesting ball choice.
yeah.
He must not be a strictly Brunswick guy with the Mills Heilmans of the world, but throwing probably one of his favorite pieces from the cell line, which a lot of people liked.
It was highly popular, and just remember from it's a nice shot from Rob from our little show that we watched last night.
Yes.
Watching Wes Malott throw the cell line.
Yeah, we were watching the 2009 Tournament of Champions last night, where Rhino Page went 4 count to lose.
Yeah, that does look a lot like a cell pearl to me. Now that he says that. So.
And he does have he has been hauling around a red Quantum too, so he's got some Brunswick equipment up there. Good projection there. Ooh, got the 9 out though.
Yep, but good break, just a smidge left maybe.
Or a tad left.
Just a tad, yes.
And I did do the Tad Schmidt salute. And
yes.
we do hope Tad is out there watching, and hopefully you do get better soon there, guy, because we would like you to bowl down in Vegas with us at Nationals. And
yes, please, Tad.
Speaking of, if those of you guys are following TeamNDBowling.com, we will take the lanes at South Point in Las Vegas for the USBC Open Championships, April 26th and 27th, which also happens to be my 30th birthday. So if you're expecting good scores out of me, you might want to think twice. You never know. You never know.
It's always possible, but you know the score that you're shooting for.
Yes.
So we won't need to mention that.
Yeah, held by you. All right, Mills now up in the 4th. That one got a little left, but he tripped out.
Nice break, leaving just the 7-pin.
That almost fell over to the 7-pin, and quite a break there. So again, spares are good. So spare shooting was very important today, as the pattern was a little tighter and did not break down quite like it did yesterday. Good on the spare there. Let's go through some of our finishers here. Mike Allen finished 6th. He was just 6 pins out of our show. Casey Stavanger in 7th. Kirby Weller, a good showing for him in 8th.
Yeah, very good.
Chris Charles in 9th. Nick Heilman, our defending champion, in 10th. Chad Nelson in 11th. Justin Schiffler in 12th. Henry Trutwin finished 13th. Travis Herzrud in 14th. Mike Larson, TeamNDBowling.com member, in 15th. Brandon Nelson in 16th. Yours truly, Darren Sini, in 17th. Jared Schmidt, 18th. Ryan Selk in 19th. And Antonio Tejeda rounds out our top 20 in 20th. So congratulations to our finalists. As a strike there for Mills. Now puts a little pressure on Rob. Rob's got a good line. It's just if he misses a little left, it's going to go nose. And fortunate enough to trip out the 9 on that last shot. This seems to be his good lane, though, so.
Yeah, you can get it a little wide and swish him out like that one.
And, you know, I would say Rob's a little more along the lines of Nick Heilman, a little more stoic in his demeanor. And then you got Andy Mills, who the yo-yo reaction and everything else. So
I don't know if I've ever seen Andy sit still. Let's just put it that way.
But, yeah, good group of guys. And, again, I do appreciate them making the drive out here to the lovely city of Fargo-Moorhead and bowling our event. So, and I do thank everyone for coming out and supporting NDBowling.com and here at Sunset Lanes. So, got that one right a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. Left lane just a little tighter for him, maybe.
Yeah, he's not getting the same sort of reaction on 11. He tried to project that one right a little more, since the previous shot on that lane almost left a 4-9. Again, it's all about pace, all about projection, proper release.
And making your spares.
That is true. Spares are very important today. Again, we are in our championship match. Rob Warren versus Andy Mills.
Hang on.
Left,
yeah, that's
common miss here this week.
That's such a tough spare on this pattern, too.
Yeah, it looks like some of the side events that Sunset Lanes have. They're doing a 40-frame game shift over here to our left. So a little reminder, if any of you guys are in the Fargo-Moorhead area, they do have the 40-frame game. They have the trios. They have the 9-pin no-tab tournament here. So just stop on by on the weekend. They do run shifts.
Yep, good shot for a double from Andy.
Big double after that open. So advantage Mills. We could see history here as the second player to win 3 separate NDBowling.com majors, joining Eric Harvey, as they will all 3 own those 2 would own the same 3 majors. So hopefully the kiss of death does not happen here, as it normally does from the booth.
Well, Andy looks pretty comfortable. I would imagine it's probably not going to happen, but
Never know. That one looks a little firm, and
Yeah, bat, good
still
shot.
rolled up. Makes you wonder if experience is coming into play here, as Andy has made our show numerous times and has won a couple majors. So
Yeah, just knowing what to expect from the lanes. I think at this point, both these guys are obviously very good experienced bowlers. So
and it's always tough being that top seed waiting the whole time too.
yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're Rob Warren and you just got done shooting 180 on this parent position round, and now you got to wait 3 matches. And, it makes you wonder what goes through his head, but Andy's pretty confident right now. He's bowled 2 matches before this, so.
Yeah, but I think if you ask almost anybody, would you rather have the top seed or the 3rd seed?
I would really like to be guaranteed 2nd place before even
yep,
going.
Absolutely. Give me a 1-game match and I'll take my chances.
All right, so a big shot here for Rob to kind of maintain his distance in this match. A double's kind of a must here.
He finds something that
looks better.
Pretty close and
comes in flat. Same problems that Thomas Wolf was having.
Yep. Gets it to a good spot and just didn't quite have enough.
Again, following our championship match here, we will get a word with our champion, and we will hand off the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy. And then we'll be on our way. Again, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button on your YouTube player, subscribe to our channel, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter. That'd be greatly appreciated. Again, in our first match, Dave Langer took out Eric George. And then Andy Mills took out Dave Langer and Thomas Wolf, and appears to be on his way to his 3rd different major. Looks pretty good.
Yep.
He's got the right roll and projection down where there's a certain roll I found out yesterday. There's a certain throw away of projection and rotation that creates hold room. And it seemed like that shot had all of that, where he has hold room now the way he's throwing it. But if you get a little rolly with your hand, it reads off the pattern a little more aggressively. So looks like he has solved the riddle to this pair.
Yep, and, even this mark right here is going to about sew this up. And
that'll do it. And your 2017 NDBowling.com champion is Andy Mills, and he'll take home his 3rd separate major, joining Eric Parvey as the only 2 bowlers to have won 3 separate NDBowling.com major championships. And he'll join probably a very short list of players to have won 3 majors, period. I think there's maybe 8 who have done so. You have Mike Schmidt, Mike Morris, Dave Schick, Jack Nelson, Eric Parvey, Matt Smallin, just to name a few. I know I'm going to forget someone, so I do apologize. But
that's 6 right off the top of your head. So regardless, it's a very short list and a very accomplished and a very good list.
And he's done it in 6 attempts at majors, because he did not bowl the K-Fire the last 2 years. And he almost won Manitoba this year, but Wade Scott took him out in the final.
Yep.
So he has been in the final of 4 of 6 majors that he's bowled.
That's not too shabby.
And the 2 that he didn't were won by Nick Heilman.
They were, weren't they?
Because Nick Heilman's our defending champion, and he won in Minot this year. So how's that for a record from La Crosse, Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think they'll take that.
I think these guys know what they're doing. And I do believe they will be in Vegas at the USBC Open sometime soon. I want to say they're bowling later this month, if not in early April. So keep an eye out for Nicholas J's Pro Shop, as these guys have won an Eagle before. It was Andy Mills, Nick Heilman and company. I'm not sure if Rob was on that team or if he was on the other team or not. But these guys all bowl together. They've won an Eagle down at the Open. These guys know what they're doing. So congratulations to Andy. We'll have a word with him here shortly. And while we have a quick minute before we do that, I do want to remind everyone, you're watching NDBowlTV, the High Plains Bowling Network. And a big thanks out to Sean Morris, Rob Gottschall, Mike Flanagan and company at Ebonite for sponsoring the NDBowlTV, the High Plains Bowling Network, for a 2nd year in a row. Hopefully we can have them back on board next season. again, find us on social media. That would be greatly appreciated. Our next action here on NDBowlTV will be this summer from Alexandria, as we'll be joined by Walter A. Williams Jr. at the Midwest Youth Championship at the Garden Center. A very good tournament if you're a youth bowler out there looking to bowl an event. They hand out a lot of money. I'm pretty sure the winner of the boys and girls open divisions took home about $4,000 or $5,000 last year. So if you're thinking about it, go out and bowl, because you'll have a chance to bowl the Pro-Am on Saturday night with Walter A. as well. So good opportunity for everyone. All right, making it official here is Mills, 174 for Rob Warren. Andy Mills is going to finish it out here with a 220 or 234.
Yeah.
So hell of a final there for Andy Mills as he took out Dave Langer, Thomas Wolf, and Rob Warren for the win. So he's no stranger to climbing the ladder, I can tell you that much. Let's see if we can get a word with him and hand over our trophy. So first we gotta take pictures.
Yeah, pictures and money. I think the money's a little important to him.
Yeah, well, I need a picture too when it's over, so I think we'll leave the stream running while I go hand him the trophy after we talk to him, and then we'll take a picture, and then we'll come wrap things up. So,
quick shout out to Lonnie Thielbar and Darren Sundstrom there, running the tournament yesterday and today.
and everyone here at Sunset Lanes, a very good tournament. And thank you, Lonnie. Slots,
as we call him, another TeamNDBowling.com member, but
yeah,
about as smooth as you could run it the last couple days.
All right, and joining us once again, no stranger to NDBowlTV, is champion Andy Mills. Andy, welcome.
Thank you, Darren.
How did things go out there? You took out Dave Langer, you took out Thomas Wolf, and then your teammate Rob Warren. What were the lanes like out there? They look pretty brutal.
It was a battle of attrition out there. It was that first game against Dave. I was just trying to I thought I had a pretty good line, and then on the left lane twice, it just kind of grabbed in the middle of the lane on me, and it went right through the face and split. So then, and for Dave, he was way left of me on the left lane, and we were in the same zone on 12, and I think he just bowled a bad game. And then we go to Thomas Wolf, and I caught an early 3-bagger, and he was throwing great shots, just couldn't get 10 to fall, and that just kind of loosened up my arm swing, thinking, well, I had the match up by 20 kind of early and just kind of coasted and got moved into the final game. And kind of the same with Rob. He just couldn't get off to a good start, and I kind of did. So these match plays are just, it's all about kind of trying to get off to a good start, stay clean, and then see where the match goes from there.
For sure. Yep. And with a win today, you become the second bowler to win 3 separate NDBowling.com major championships, joining Eric Harvey. How do you feel about that? You're one of 2.
It makes me feel pretty good. You guys put on fabulous events. The live stream is very cool. Everyone back home gets to watch. And Harvey's a phenomenal bowler too. He just had a tough weekend today, or this weekend, but to join him is really cool.
Very nice, cool. And you'll get to take home the Glenn Haynes Memorial Trophy. We'll present that to you here in a minute and get a picture with you. Like always, what's next for you guys?
We got city tournament this next upcoming weekend, then state, then nationals. We're bowling nationals on April 9th and 10th, and state 2 weeks before that, the last weekend of March. So, we got our big tournaments coming up. So for all 3 of us, me, Nick, and Rob, to bowl well was very cool.
Awesome.
We kind of all needed that.
Yeah, we do thank you guys for driving up once again. The big trophy will be going back to Wisconsin as it did last year, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll see you again.
Thanks, Darren. Always got to have a big shout out to my wife, Lindsay. Love you, honey.
Yeah.
And be home tonight.
I will say one thing. It's a pleasure to have a wife back home that supports what you do, because myself, mine's sitting back home. She allows me to do this, and chase what I love to do. So
Yeah, I always say I married the woman I don't deserve.
yeah,
She's amazing.
I feel the same way. So we'll take a minute here and we'll give away a trophy. So
Awesome. Thank you, Darren.
and we'll turn it over to Ken for a minute.
Congratulations, Andy. Yep, big shout out again to Andy and all the guys with Nicholas J's Pro Shop, proving that they're as good as it gets around here. So anybody out there still watching, you want somebody to beat, come down and watch these guys. Andy, Nick, Rob, all of them. That's something to see. And big thank you to Darren for letting me sit in again, as always. Good to see him make a cut finally, as he's jumping back in here.
I heard my name.
I was just thanking you, that's all.
Yeah, they wanted to know if I wanted in the picture. I told them I didn't want to shine the forehead on the camera too much.
Andy's got enough of that
Proper
going
lighting,
on.
yeah. But let's wrap things up here. I do want to thank everyone for joining us today here at the NDBowling.com Classic 2017, another successful event. The pattern turned out pretty well. It played well for everyone. And, what can you say? Any final thoughts?
I know the last couple of years have been a struggle for you coming to this event especially. But all said and done, I don't think it could go a whole lot better than it did the last 2 years. Building momentum for a tournament that desperately needed it.
That's for sure. And again, just reminding everyone of what's coming up. You'll see NDBowlTV this summer in August. For NDBowling.com, I'm Darren Sini, joined once again by Ken Fletcher. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you as always, Darren, for having me.
And he will join us once again in Alexandria. So